Alrighty. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Done. Redirecting to Facebook Live. So, yeah, now we are live on Facebook. So, hello everybody. I'm Denise, and welcome to Love Speaks Love. So, for this edition of Love Speaks Love, we have the beautiful and amazing and very, very cosmic and grounded Zahara Celestial. And I've known Elizabeth, who is now Zahara, so you might know her as Elizabeth Redwick. I have known her actually not that long in this lifetime, which is really quite surprising. I think maybe we met about a year ago. I think we had our Facebook anniversary quite recently, and we've done a lot of work together. We went to France together. We did work together there. And I'll let her introduce herself as well, but she is amazing. She's got a big place in my heart. So I am going to bring her on, ask to start video. Here she is.
Oh, thank you so much. Wow.
So, Zahara Celestial, I would like to share what you would like to share about yourself. First of all,
I'm going to be a bit unorthodox.
That's perfect.
Which is kind of what I'm like. Yes, yama, mai, moi, yes, it. There we go.
So when I first watched you on Top Medina, it was probably a lot to do. Oh, it wasn't just your voice, but that had a lot to do with it. It was like your whole effervescent personality that I was really drawn to. So I think I messaged you quite soon after that, and just because I really just felt drawn to connect. And we've had a really, really strong connection since then. And like I say, it's hard to believe that I've only known you such a short time in this lifetime. But yeah, you have a really, really strong presence. So one of the questions, I mean, we've talked a lot, and there's a lot I know about you, but there's a lot I don't as well. And I think a lot of people watching will know you, but for those that don't, what kind of put you on this path that you're on now? Where did it start, and how did it kind of start for you?
Can't make sounding the whole time then. Where to begin, isn't it? So especially where we are now with finding linear time challenging. Well, I've always been on this path. And it's just coming home to being able to be revealing that with others. So I've that's what's so celebratory at this time. I knew from like childhood that I had this path. I wanted to sound, I wanted to sing, but I didn't want to be a singer. That I wanted to make images, but I didn't want to be an artist. I was human, but I felt different from everybody. I had experiences that people around me didn't have, sort of multi-dimensional experiences, and I knew inherently that others didn't have it. There were things that I wanted to connect to, that I did connect to, like Mother Earth Gaia and other dimensional beings that other people like to, regardless of what groups I were in, they were, some of it they could understand, some of it not. So it's been a collective evolution, and I've been working with clearing my own human wounding, to then arrive, it's all been all sort of ordained at this perfect timing of the collective awakening. But one of the major, so for the ascension arc, I call it the ascension arc, or the awakening where we're in, one of the first points was I felt I had a full-time job. I've been very much having different hats, but doing the same thing. So child psychotherapist, a family support worker, mentor. I did the same thing. I was just being me wherever I was, and based in schools. And I felt this yearning to, the soul was really yearning. And I went on a retreat on Dartmoor, Devon, where I was partly brought up with at part of the time. It's the Vales have never been there. I mean, it's extraordinary. The beings, the energy there, the wildness. I mean, it's raw and it's powerful. So, and during that time, I was with a few people and they were all talking about going to the Arctic. And I'm like, I've never wanted to go to the Arctic. I had no memory of the Arctic. I literally got woken up in the middle of the night by a Arctic fox that looked 3D. It scared the bejeebies out of me. I screamed. I said, I didn't want to die, because it really freaked me out. Got this fox going like this. And so then the next day was all being on the land in silence on your own. I managed, I don't know, I found these huge buzzard feathers. I kept finding all these things, got to the circle at the end. And there was my heart, I thought I was going to have a heart attack because we're with a talking stick, and I was the last person to talk. And I really love active listening, really emptying to really then hear without the dialogue, without the what am I saying, what am I thinking, what am I going to say next, just being like empty and receiving. I couldn't do that, which is very frustrating. So I thought, oh my God. And just like, and so it got to me, and then I just said what happened, and everyone just burst out laughing. And you come into the Arctic. So then I went to the Arctic in 2010, and then there was the Northern Lights, and there was memory of being in wilderness, past life memories, the snow ice activation, the crystalline activation. It was just profound, being in wilderness, profound. And the Northern Lights, I knew it was dimensional beings. Another dimension opened up. Other people were seeing lights, which were awesome, but so it was that. So it was sort of 2009, and then another point was 2012 when I had another. Then that was a huge awakening. So then it's just at significant points. A few of us will say, don't we? Go there's been like 2009, 2010, 2012, 2016. So at each collective awakening, I've had something happen. So that's that. Quickly.
Can I just quickly ask, the fox that you saw, was that like a white fox? Was that like an Arctic fox?
Arctic fox, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very beautiful, yeah.
And did you kind of get a message?
No, the message was go to you go to the Arctic. But it took that to kind of shock me into, because I'm like, no, I'm not wanting to go, I don't want to go. And it's like, you're going. And I felt so held and so supported because of it. It was just wondrous. Went for 3 weeks, North Sweden, right up in the Arctic. Incredible. Absolutely. I just felt at home. It was bliss. Absolutely bliss.
So no trees?
There are a few, but they still are, yes. And so when it becomes, winter, it's like almost, it's otherworldly because of the tree. It becomes ice and white and frost. Your eyelashes become like frost.
What time of year did you go?
January, February.
Yeah.
So right in the winter. Magical. Absolutely.
How are the skies?
Because it's sunset, sunrise all the time. So there's actually an amazing color. So you have, sunset and sunrise colors, oranges and reds and yellows, and then the snow is blue.
Oh wow.
Ice is blue. And the snow is not just a little, it's just like, I made that mistake. We all did that. We all had a sauna, like naked sauna, in the middle of the night, as you do when it's -44, and we all ran out. Then we were going to do snow angels, because I like, oh yeah, woohoo. And then I went plummeting down. I was like, fucking hell, I'm not going, oh my God. Because it's free, it's not more than freezing. Crazy, amazing. So and highly activating. So I was sleeping a lot of the time. I missed out in some ways. A lot of people would do like expeditions this, and I'm like, I had to sleep all day. A couple of times I was just like, I was exhausted, just the amount of energy that's coming in, because we're building up to the Northern Lights, and I could feel it, and it coming like 3 days before. So it was like, it was just massive energy coming through, and then massive clearing. And I just think, what's wrong with me? Everyone's else, oh, we're now off here, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. I'm just like, so a lot of it, I was asleep. But what
a really thin veil, because there's no like distortion there. And it must be quite a pure place in terms of the energy as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So everything is crystalline.
Yeah.
And you can breathe, and it's like you dissolve.
Wow.
And the feel of being, I've not been in true wilderness before. And that is sacred. I mean, other people being in wilderness would have, I mean, you've been to Australia, but I hadn't been to, wilderness, and that's sacred. And yes, so when the Northern Lights came, and there's no separation, and then the amount of sky, but every snowflake is huge and different.
Oh wow.
So you got stars, you're walking among stars. I didn't want to leave. I didn't. That's the one place I'm like, I just don't want to leave.
Wow. So when you see the Northern Lights, I can't quite visualize, like when you see the photographs, how the color that's there comes all the way down to the earth. Can you like feel it? Can you feel the energy from it?
You can feel it like days before is a charge.
Wow.
And especially if you're sensitive, like you, me, you can really feel it. Other people might not. It's like it's and then so the sound, so it's like there's so many layers of sound.
Wow. That's all I'm saying. Wow. Wow.
And it's a vertigo, but not feeling sick, but the opposite. You just are being pulled up. Your soul, it's being pulled up. Your spirit, your energy, everything is being pulled up. It is a huge activation. It's like I don't think it's anything else that you, and that's why people love it. And they probably can get they want to go and see the Northern Lights, and people who are not maybe as awake can get really like addicted to it, because it is amazing. So it's one of because the only other time I had like such an all-encompassing profound divine experience, when I had experience of being in heaven, when I went out my body when I was a child, it was a shock. And it was also pre-warning to more things that were going to happen. So I kind of I felt, so I remember there being in the Arctic going, well, it's not heaven, but what is this? And then when I had in 2012, when I had the golden beings and the dimension, it was crystalline golden structures that they were part of, but they were separate, and they were huge. I mean, like the beings in the Northern Lights. I'm like, I did the same thing again. I'm like, it's not heaven. So it's like, because I've been very much in the kind of brought up in the Christian England, it's like there's I never believed in hell. I thought we create our own hell, but I did believe in heaven. But I thought that's it. You got earth, and then you got heaven. But then it's like then when I in 2012, like had that really blew my brain. That really was cosmic. And it's like, okay, there's more on heaven and earth than we can imagine. That saying, and I'm like, okay, now I get it. There's more going on. There is much more going on. But even then, the people weren't talking about that. I didn't know anybody had those experiences. It's until, I don't know, 2016.
Did you say that was 2012 that you were there?
2010 in the Arctic, and then I went,
right.
and then I asked Spirit to show me where to go on a vision quest, and they showed me, and I never heard of this mountain. I went to Wales, and that's where I saw all these golden beings and dimension and everything. So that was 2012. Feels a lifetime ago.
And all the colours that you saw in the Northern Lights, was it like mainly certain colours, or was it a really wide range of colours?
To be honest, I was so kind of in another dimension. It wasn't the colours. It started being more blues and greens because it can be different, but then it was like something else. Then I was just blown away from being, I wanted to go up. I just wanted to be pulled up. And I believe you can be pulled up. I dare say more of us will be being put, if we go where we're going, we'll be, especially in those kind of environments, we'll all be like hovering up and doing all sorts of things, because it's just, it's physical. It's physical. It is like it's the crown chakra. It's the top of it's the top. It's there's more going on with all that than I haven't really thought about it. And part of me doesn't want to kind of, it's not a head thing, but there's yet more to happen with all that dimensional portal openings, and it's coming, as you know, it's coming down like where we are in the British Isles. It keeps on coming further and further down and down and down. So more people are seeing it more south, which is interesting. There's a reason for that. So it's more people are seeing the Northern Lights, so you're not having to go to the Arctic or but I definitely get the message that there's going to be there's more going to be happening with all that, more, I don't know, whatever, huge kind of what comes to mind is sort of like almost like the earth peeling its skin and going inside out, or that whatever how wherever I keep getting actually is whatever that symbol that's got a name.
Taurus.
Yeah, I keep getting that. I think I was doing a live when that sort of came up, and I can't remember what. There was something I was talking about. I can't remember now because I was obviously channeling, but we were bringing stuff up, and then we were bringing stuff down, and so we're kind of doing that, and then we're doing that at the same time. But that's what it's a real, I feel is what being shown is a huge sort of massive motorway, really massive, like beings coming through that, and that's just a little trial run that we keeps kind of going, it's here, and I mean it's even, it felt even, well, heaven was love and a divine overall presence. This was tangible. This was, I mean, that was just very different. I can't really describe it because it was kind of, I suppose part of me was leaving, but the Northern Lights was a physical, it's an activation, it's physical. And so I believe, and there's a knowing there, that people are being activated by going to the Northern Lights, so they wouldn't have that language or might not be aware of that, but it really affects your whole system.
I had an experience in December 2012 when I was living in Byron, and there was this, and this was the night before, because it was the 20th of December 2012, I think, that was a particularly significant date. So it must have been the 19th. It was the night before. And there was this storm that came in. And often the storms that came in, there would be this gust of wind that would be like, and just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, suddenly there's this huge gust of wind. And you know that that's heralding a storm. And this was the strangest storm that I've ever seen. And I was living on a hill. And I'd cycled home, hoping that I'd get home in time before all the rains came crashing down. And I did. And I stood because I wanted to watch it coming in and just see the storm from the hill. And it was the most bizarre storm that I've ever seen. There was all these odd lights and lights that were coming up from the earth upwards. Like there was a few of them. And this was a place, there were some houses there, but not many. And I knew where the houses were, and they weren't the houses. And they were very vertical lights as well, like really, really bizarre.
Oh, wow.
And there was another hill, there was like a valley and then another hill. And I could see on that other hill, there were waves of what looked like white noise. So when the TV goes off and you see all those white dots, that's what it looked like, but it was in waves coming like that. And I could see it on the hill. And I thought, if that's happening on the hill, it's probably actually happening here. And then I tuned into it and I could feel those waves coming through me. And that's why I asked how it felt, because I got the image of this happening to me as you were speaking about it. And it felt like static as well. I could just feel it kind of like rushing through, but like tingles, like little lots of little jolts of electricity. Yeah, it was this straight, and no one was there with me. Someone from the house where I was living was going to come, but she couldn't settle her son down. So it ended up just being me that witnessed this. Wow. And there were no other like people around. There were no other, there was, it was just one of those really special moments that you kind of want to share with someone, but at the same time, it's a real honor that, you know, you look around and you think, wow, no one else can see this.
Wow.
This is, and it's hard to say what effect that had, because I was already, I couldn't really pinpoint any specific things after that, but it was a really amazing experience. It was,
Wow, that's incredible.
So you also do amazing codes and you do incredible images. I love your images, and there's always seems to be, like, I might have this wrong in my head, but say, for example, it might be a face, but the eyes might be a swan face that comes down. Like, you seem to often have like what would be the words for this? The image looks like it's one thing, but when you look close, you see it's made up of other things.
Yeah.
Have you always drawn? Have you always had that flair? Because it's exquisite, your artwork. It's really, really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love your work.
How's that kind of come about for you? Like, did you study?
As a child, I drew every day and it kept me sane. And I took it on as a task to train. And I knew, without reading about it, or because, you know, we're talking about the 70s or going into the 80s, that I had to train my brain to my hand. So I quickly learned that what I see, so how children draw is not what they see. So how to put what you see in the 3D onto 2D, and you have to train your brain with your hand to draw what you see and then onto that. And so I spent hours like, I'm going to draw my hand, and the hand is the most difficult thing you can draw. I think that's what it felt like to me. And I would draw it and draw it and draw it and draw it and draw it. I used to do imaginary drawings, but I wanted to be able to draw what I could see out there. I wanted to have the skill. And so when I would go to school, you know, the kids would go, "Oh, wow, you amazing. You can draw." I'm like, well, because I've been practicing like a musician, you know, you sort of, so then I went to art college, and they didn't teach me anything other than the patriarchal paradigm of fashion, and it wasn't about you being creative, it was what was in fashion, and it was all very cerebral, and who was popular and who was in the right gang, and all about money. And I mean, I couldn't fit in with that, and I left without drawing. So 1920, didn't draw. But for the whole last year of art college, I was in the sculptor studio doing performance art, installation, and film and photography. Mm-hmm. I'm not IT person. It was just like an old, black and white camera, click, and I used to love it because it's very simple. And then blow up the photographs. I did a film of me throwing dice with hands. That was my exhibition. And then the technician got it so it was on a Super 8 film, so it went on a loop, and so you walk into the room, it was all blacked out, and then in the middle of the room with these hands throwing dice, and that was it. So I didn't carry on drawing, and then occasionally I might make one drawing every other year, or have a little bout of doing like a sketchbook, but nothing until 2016 when I really woke up to being, my soul was so at home with Lemuria. That was a huge awakening. And I got a friend who's a weaver, dyer, amazing soul, and she wanted to do some images and drawing and sketching, and so I would just tell myself, I'm just doodling to try and get over the block of not creating. And we did this like every week. We'd meet up and go for a walk, and then I'd be doodling and she'd be like creating these amazing things in a sketchbook. And I wasn't freaked by it though, because we're old friends. She's amazing, and very laid back. And then I don't know, when you probably, I've heard other people ask it, you can't actually say when the point is, but somehow it just all started. The sounding though has been with me since going to the Arctic. Being in drumming circle, I could hear all different beings, and I was with people in this drumming circle, shamanic drumming, so it's frame drumming and not led beats, it's just you would drum a beat. So it's led by a person that lead it very beautifully, very hands off, and she's not at all ego. And I said I needed a sound, and that's how it all started. And then I went to a gong bath with this, she's an opera singer, she's based in London, and she had the Venus gong. I haven't got time to go in the whole thing about Venus and the plumaged serpent, and that's a whole thing, and you've heard me talk about that, but that's a whole, and I occasionally dare to write about it, and it'll come now and again, because it's all woven in to the misinformation about Garden of Eden and an Eden resonance and the emerald resonance, and the fallen angel that was muddled up with the devil. And then it all gets people get a bit like, oh. So I'm very careful, because that's not what I'm on about. But the plumaged serpent has been appeared, in South American, Mayan, Australia. This resonance, and it's the emerald, and it's the Eden codes that's really coming up. Anyway, I've kind of gone distracted, but anyway, so she was playing, and it's connected with love. This resonance, the plumaged serpent, is connected with Venus and love. And so, that was a huge activation, because like I'm lying there, and then this plumaged serpent comes out of me.
So you were having the gong bath.
Yeah.
And
there was all these beings, and this plumaged serpent comes out. And that's when that's like, I need to sound. And she led us a gathering every week where it was just organically sounding. Again, you just make noise.
Yeah.
There was no, so I've been very lucky it's all perfectly orchestrated that the two people that the groups that I have been at, where it was hands off and not led, not structured, it was all making sound, so able to support me, enable me to support sound. So that's how I've taught it with groups, just held the space so other people can make sound. Very permissive, very allowing. It cuts off all the judging and the criticism, because you're not having to learn a rhythm, you're not learning a sound, a song, you're just being, you're doing. We really being, and then you might come do the doing. But because she had an operatic voice, it was like, it was just I'm like really a bit out of my body today. I'm thinking, is it helpful with the glasses or not helpful with the glasses? I'm a bit like, oh, a bit lightheaded. I just gave me permission to kind of, I'm going to try making like, and then go, because it didn't matter, because her volume is like, so she could drown anybody out. And it's like, so I'm like, I'm just going to try and explore my voice, what I can do. And she does do light language. So though others might not kind of be aware of that. And then we would go to places, the same place. We would like look at each other and go, yep, we knew we were connecting with the same realms, same guides, same beings. We would sing the same sounding, or if there were any songs that were being downloaded, it'd be like sing at the same time. So she, Amanda Kent, I'll just plug her, a divine soul, and yeah, so that was all I needed, was to have someone with a really strong voice that wasn't threatened by, it wasn't, she's not in an ego space. She's like, okay, great, and somebody else to kind of go, and then, yeah, so then I did that, I don't know, a few months, and then that was enough. And I did go up.
That? Oh, sorry, linear time again.
I don't know, 2014, something like that, maybe. I don't know, 2015.
So a few years.
Yeah. So yes, so to really hear, like, oh my gosh, I can sing, but so for me it's important I wasn't trained to sing, because I'm a bit like, I had a friend years ago who was a trained classical pianist who then wanted to learn jazz, and it was a real block to be able to be free and improvise and just be jazzy. So yeah, so that's yeah. And she had one gong. It's interesting, I had somebody come up to me and said, and I had a few people in the past like, booked your gong bath, and I was so disappointed because you just had one gong, and normally people have several gongs, and I thought, what have I paid for? I'm like, okay, is this where's this person going? And I don't get that anymore though. And she said, oh, how wrong I was. So Amanda, because she uses her voice with the gong, I don't know anybody else who does that. She does it. I don't know what she does now, because this is quite a few years ago, but I use my voice more than she does with the gong. It's become like more and more me with the gong. Yeah.
So when you play the gong and you're facing the gong, presumably when you're singing, so your voice is hitting the gong as well, because the gong sound, it doesn't sound anything like you imagine a gong's going to sound. I think we just have this vision that you just hit a gong. It's like dinner time in the hotel and you hit a gong, and that's what it sounds like. That was my experience of it.
That's really good.
But it sounds so otherworldly.
Yeah.
The gong.
Yeah, it is otherworldly, exactly. It's cosmic. It's multidimensional, quantum. Yeah, it's quite eerie, and you can get some eerie because it has a symphony of sound in it, and obviously it's metal. But I've got Sedna gong, so I heard the word Sedna, so that was another major wakening up because I was thinking, I knew then I wanted or need, you know, it was a calling to have a gong. And I heard the word Sedna. I'm like, that's the gong. I didn't know about Sedna. And then I looked up, and she was a human who became a divine being, a goddess. So that's very ascension. And also she's the furthest planet in our solar system. So she's being able to be seen now. So she comes from the depths of the solar system and then is bringing light. And the story, Sedna is an Inuit goddess. So I have very much a lot with the North. So an Inuit goddess, I didn't know that. She's an ocean goddess, as well as named the only planet that's non-Roman Greek after a god. So so everyone else, you know, Mars and Jupiter and then Sedna. Whoever did that was amazing. And her story is pretty, it's harsh. But she gives birth to life through the ocean. She gives birth to whales and dolphins. And it's profound, powerful story. Much forgiveness because she's abandoned and brutalized, and then sinks to the ocean, and then because she's got no hands because of what happened, I won't go into the whole story, but then that's where life is birthed from where her hands used to be. It's quite a and she has a very deep resonance. They've attuned her to the root chakra, and I forget which one that is, but it's the base. So it's a very you're right. Okay, so that will be it. So she's water, but she's very rooted because she's the depth. So it's a very holding sound. And I couldn't unwrap her for weeks because the immensity of the energy, and they are beings, obviously, like drums are, but the gong, a being. So she's always out. She's already wrapped up. I unwrapped her from the other night. But she takes in all the energies, and she'll pick up the voice and the resonance. And then I use my drum with this. I've got an Inuit style drum as well. It's a bit of a theme there. Women use them, and it's got a handle to it, and then it's a singing drum. Whoops. And there
goes my board.
Oh dear. So I sing in the drum, and then sometimes I sing into the drum, and then that goes through the drum into the gong. So then you've got three things going on there. So you can imagine there's a lot going on there.
And that's an interesting combination as well with the base chakra of the gong, but your high voice as well, and like the very cosmicness of your voice. Because when I play the singing bowls, it's like the bowls start singing me and I start singing the bowl. It's like you get this resonance together, and it changes my voice, but it also kind of changes the sound that the bowl's making as well. So I presume it's something similar with the gong, is it as well?
Definitely. Yeah. And immense, because the immensity can hold so much more sound and depth, and you have to surrender, especially when you're singing into your surrender. You're going into that immense depth. I mean, you're playing, you'll be doing that, but for me, I'm giving myself into the cosmic whatnot. And I'm gone. And that's it. And so they can do so much more. So like my gong sounding, and also when you have more people, so I have, I don't know, 20 people or whatever. I've done two that have been around about 50, and it was like, because they're bringing in all their resonance, all their guides, all their soul family connections, whether they know it or not. And you got the gong, and then it's like boom. So I actually did one last night, and I grounded people. So I actually need to ground people. And then getting people come back takes a little while, and they were like, oh, because it's like an hour. I do an hour and 15 minutes of continuous sounding.
Wow.
So,
That's not a wow.
yeah, I'll do it once a month. I think it's quite enough for me. Just like
Probably quite enough for the people coming as well.
yeah, I did try it for twice a month, but yeah, it was a bit too much, I think.
You mentioned before the emerald. I can't remember quite at the point in the conversation, but I wanted to come back to the emerald. So I really associate the heart chakra with emerald light.
Oh, baby.
But there feels to be something more happening with emerald at the moment that is linked to the heart.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the emerald rays are coming in at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a feel of that? Do you have a feel of what, anything more about that?
For me, the new earth resonance is the soul resonance of Gaia, so isn't new.
Yeah.
And her soul resonance for me is that emerald, the green. And so is connected with the Garden of Eden. So because this is being activated, the remembering, but also it's kind of it is a new earth in a way of sort of being reborn, to her coming back in a way, returning to that original resonance. But more than that, because she's evolving, so she's not just returning. So I suppose it is a new earth. And there's something about how the Garden of Eden has a funny it's an apple, which has knowledge, and then you have the whole thing about shame, and I feel shame is a lid that keeps us small and stuck, and we go into judgment. And there was a whole judgment about they have access to knowledge, and it was all the divine feminine. And then you have the Isle of Avalon. Well, guess what? More apples. And it's the Emerald Isle. Also, I feel very much. We talk about the Emerald Isle. So Avalon and the Holy Grail. There's so much that I've been feel I've not been able to talk to anybody about, because people kind of will then go into the dogma or the story from the Bible or this, that, and the other. But there's so many. So there was this being that wanted to say that I am a sovereign being, but then got punished for that, was an angel, got punished for that, and then came down to earth with the emerald in her heart. And then it got buried in the earth. Then no one ever goes into that from the dogmatic point of looking at it. And it all gets all distorted by the snake and Lucifer and the devil and knowledge, and having knowledge or thinking you can be sovereign is evil. So I found it really quite extraordinary that in some ways that in this new earth awakening and ascension speaking and sharing, people talk about being sovereign beings and not having to bow down, not being ego. But this is what this fallen angel was told was all in ego. And I'm like, this is really interesting. So yes, so but the emerald in the heart, you start talking about divine feminine and the grail energy, and for me, I've worked with the West and Gabriel, the voice of God, and very much in the Western water resonance for me. I mean, yes. So, but trees, nature, green.
Yeah.
Is how light is transformed. and yeah, so it is it's a pure color. It's so that and then you have the emerald codes. You have the emerald tablets, but I feel there's emerald knowledge that's older than that, older than so you got sort of like alchemy mystery codes, and it's all got ancient Egypt, and you got Thoth and all that, but there's the older resonance than that, which is really really ancient. But I'm not I haven't read for years, and I don't now that everybody's kind of speaking about things, I've relaxed. For while people weren't speaking about, because I felt the heart of Mother Earth and Gaia and wanted to go there and felt it existed, that there was a realm that you could go to. Now, when I talk to people about that 25 years ago, whatever, they're like, what are you on about? No, that's I could feel that calling me. So, and now it's inner earth, people, inner earth realm, it's Eden resonance, it's emerald. I felt the emerald city of the inner earth coming up. I think that was last year. And you know, emerald beings residing in that resonance. So I explore things for them to be unearthed in a way, which is an interesting phrase. And then I kind of move on. So I haven't gone into more than that. Especially when I haven't listened to back on my journeys, but there's so much more information when I'm channeling or doing guided journeys. There's a lot that comes through, but I feel we're all on a journey. I don't get fixed on, okay, this is what I'm working with. So beyond, so I had a yearning and a searching, and I did more reading back then, but it's all gone whoosh. There wasn't a lot on this though, having said that. There wasn't a lot on this. I only recently found a book called The Emerald Modem by Leviton, and some of it I can't, it's like not for me, but some of it is, and that's yeah, so
that's really interesting, actually. I think you've sown quite a few seeds in that conversation. I think, yeah, I just have that feeling of seeds being sown with people in that conversation. And I really felt the energy change when we went on to talk about that as well. And kind of, I've been looking at the screen, and it's like my room has gone really, not smoky, kind of misty, almost like I'm looking here, but everything around the iPad is all kind of like hazy.
That's probably why I've been feeling really lightheaded, because there's like something a lot coming in. I was like really, I'm like, oh goodness, another huge download. Oh shit. ground.
And we haven't actually done anything together for a long time, have we?
No. I had a lot of my own journey that I needed to do, healing work on myself.
Yeah, I think us connecting for, pretty constantly for those few days as well, it's like we had a huge exchange of codes, a huge activation just in being, never mind the work that we did together, but just in being present with each other. Like we both received huge activations, and big things seem to be happening for everybody really around that time from October onwards. But yeah, certainly there were for both of us. But I'm wondering, because I'm feeling a lot of energy coming in as well, are you feeling a transmission?
Sounding? Yeah, could do some sounding together.
Yeah, some light language, whatever feels to present itself. I will let you take the floor.
Oh, okay.
Actually, one thing I forgot to do at the beginning, and I might just do this first before we...
Oh, the heart.
Which is interesting. It shows I wasn't really that nervous, because one of the reasons I was doing it was to like expel the get into the heart space.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like less in the nerve space. I'll just do that now. So just bringing our awareness to our heart space in the center of the chest, and perhaps placing one or both hands in that space. Breathing in love, breathing out love. And I'm just feeling my heart connected to yours, Zahara, and connecting to everyone who's on the call now, everyone who's watching on the replay or on YouTube. And visualizing a beautiful golden web of light and love going all the way around the planet. And not just on the surface and in the air, but going deep down into the earth, all the way to the crystal diamond heart of Gaia. Okay, over to you.
So many are waking up, not just to ourselves and many parts of ourselves and our soul parts and our soul family, but to our collective awareness. As we gather more of our soul parts together, we are like a community. Not only are we multiverse and many aspects to ourselves and avatars and human aspects, there is a soul part in each of us that is so in union with Mother Earth Gaia. We who are at the frontier are holding the light, the love resonance that is Mother Earth Gaia and source through the sun, reflected through the moon, orchestrated through all these wonderful planets. There is part of us which is a kind of like doesn't make sense that is quantum fractal and has a collective identity, if you like, that is more than a person, a persona, human identity. Many of us are remembering times when we seeded part of that resonance. I don't know whether I'm making any sense, but that we would have like seeded crystalline and crystals in the earth that are part of us and are still part of us. So we are not just individual, we are collective. And what I'm getting is that we're running out of how I'm feeling words to explain this. So it's not all, it's bigger and vaster. So what I was sensing is this huge portal opening, and I'm like, that's why I was going like that. I'm like, I don't know, oh my God. What I'm also experiencing with people coming to me, and it's not just be with me, other people have been saying, but now it's happening to me because it's reflecting where I'm at, is we're now really are moving through so fast. So fast. What I'm working with people in an hour would have taken 5 sessions like 2 years ago or more. It's like immense, and it's coming really easily. At the same time, I'm in the middle of another physical thing that's I'm having to deal with. And this is the last thing I've been having, like the second thing I've had. So I'm aware that I'm in a lot of core fears coming up, and in divine presence of mind, higher mind awareness and higher heart awareness. So I'm at the same time holding both, which feels very new. So I've just had to do some speaking because it's to try and with this, it's this massive, it's like, it's a portal.
Yeah, I can feel it.
It's like freaking
it feels different as well. Like I can't explain the energy and how it feels different.
Oh, wow.
It just does.
There's no one I've been feeling. I've been feeling so lightheaded all day. Jesus, that's what I was like before Voices of the Light tried for 5 weeks. So when I'm thinking, why am I feeling like this? Is it because I haven't eaten or because I had sort of I had to go to the dentist yesterday, and I haven't been for years. It's like, fucking hell, I hate dentists. And it was actually it was a very entertaining experience because it was full of life. It was amazing. So I was aware of, so we can be everything. So this, I think, because we're talking about emerald, so it's what I see. This is very new, saying that I don't hold a lot of knowledge and cerebral whatnot about things. I think there must have been a resistance going on, because this it's got like loads of codes, it's got loads of lines, it's very structured. It's not what I've experienced before. So it must be because Denise and me are together at this time. We were meant to be at this time. It's got, I can see it. Whereas before I feel it. I felt when, I don't know whether it's beginning of this year, I felt immense love resonance. Source code, it's not code, that's for listening anyway. Love from source. This is like a machine in a way, a structure. So yeah, I think it must, so it is a multi-galactic structure. Get there in the end, because the energy is so vast, I'm like a bit blown away by it. So it is a divine structure, sacred geometric structure, which my humor's going, I don't know about that. I don't want a massive structure. I'm very organic. I like things to be organic, and it is. So I will connect with the Arcturians. They're one of the first beings I connected with, galactic beings, because they are love. They are so love. And they're very, they're all love. They love to be seen. They've got sense of humor. So they're always popping up everywhere. They're often the beings that everybody will see. But I will work with them because they're the most friendly. And I've worked with them for a lot. And I've got a guide, and I've been channeling them for a while. Not channeling. I want to get rid of that, because that's a separation and that's old school. That's for me anyway, because we are them and they are us. But that's anyway, whatever. I'm going to ask to work with them with this, because it's all a bit phenomenal. And I think, they'll know what that's about. That's kind of their forte. I don't feel it is totally them. It feels it's another beings. I'll let you get in now. But it's wow, it's that explains why I've been feeling what I've been feeling. Whoa, they're doing things up there, aren't they? Wow.
I'm not really getting a sense of what's happening, but just that the energy is really, really strong.
It's I mean, for a while I've been sensing the different dimensions of Mother Earth Gaia. I had that. I could see I could see 5D Earth that was showing me. I'm like, oh, and she's actually like us. There's different resonances of her. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And there's somehow they're coming in alignment. So some of these beings that you've met, I've met, they're huge in size because of their energy, and the dimension, it has a bigger capacity to be more expansive. For that's how my 3D person understands. This is new to me. It's kind of a bit more like how I've seen a couple of people do their codes, and I've not personally, I'm like, oh, that's all very interesting, but I've not got it. Now I'm thinking that's what they were tuning into.
And there's a lot of energy between your words as well. Like, it's really hard to keep my eyes open.
Yeah, I'm a bit like, so it's working with time. Yes, yeah, like that. Yes, okay, so I'm going to calm my human down now. Oh, that's what I was doing last night. All right, okay. Easter Island, and I was all last night, and this is not what I usually do, in the sound gone bath, activating all the pyramids. At what point I'm like, I don't do that. I don't do that. So that something's been switched and come online. And it's all about, we've talked about emerald and the heart and Australia and that sacred mountain and the heart chakra line, because isn't that heart Uluru what is
a lot of people say that Uluru is solar plexus,
yeah,
but it's also got a really strong root resonance with its red. But I know other people as well, local to there, who say it's heart.
That's what I feel.
So, yeah.
I felt solar plexus and I went heart. It's like, but it's got fire. But source is heart. So there's something uniting source, heart resonance with Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, and the ancient ones. I'm getting really hot. And so there's been the volcanic I think there's been volcanic things going on, so that's what all that's about. But other people probably aware of that. So this structure is acting like a portal and is helping to smooth things, align things. I think my resistance was because I've been very not wanting to tune into conspiracy. But this is helping with all that. So I'll just let it get on with all that. I think we're moved from that, but there's still people attached to that we might have to, isn't it? That's happening over there somewhere. That's Uluru. That's what I want to connect with now. Heart. So this is working with clearing all the concept of time with every person. That's what it's doing. Oh, okay, simple. Or attachment to it. Oh, yes, it dear. And everything that comes with that. Oh, everything is actually anchored to that. So yes, because we get attached to that. Everything, all attachments. So this is what's clearing that. Oh, yes, it dear. Coming through. Mono koyesia ma so codes to give and receive everything all around that, around time. Releasing our concepts, our limitations of who we are. Timeless. Beyond space, beyond time. Grace, still point. And you'd see, and you probably felt yourself, that kind of fear. No, it's all unknown, and who I need, where am I going to be? And so it's giving a structure. Otoro kuisituru isiamanda. Oturu turu 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 tuitia. Oturu turu tuisitia. Oturu turu turu isitia. Oturu turu tuisitia ruku. Yetiku tuku. Yetia tuku. Dia. So more and more individually, we'll be able to bring all the gifts from all our timelines, because there's dissolving of time. So we have access. So it's really breaking all that programming up. Yes, no, no, go toro, titira, toro, yesitia kan. Oh, chorizo. Ushi no no koro, naruko, naruko.
I herdo on ko uitast I hioport ja tata ust erat numo ko ast. Ja leert o kohon numekisteret ka an ut era ia. Ja leert on kole erd ashte ja akta akta ust urt at urt Ja me perle kiort ust jaret okum mitast jaret akt ist ja art oichem mikdaret ist ert ga ot urt ja leert oit at art ust urt ot ist ert at urt ast at ust art me kiert ast ja me dort und barat aka urta Nama kerla ku ut ast urt aku un. Berdia hist ard I ham utard uit ard I Iar uhu maka ast ord ich barata antust. Hjart ohu makar lakum at ard o gutust. Hjart I kiert uit ast ard ich ard makt akets I at
roots from soles of the feet, base of the spine, to the crystalline heart of Mother Earth Gaia. Yesiya Maha. Yesiya Moho. Breathing up, in and out. The breath of Mother Earth Gaia is our breath. Breathing in and out, source, love, through solar sun to our hearts. Breathing in and out is our breath.
Blimey is the word that comes to mind.
Yes, we must do this again.
At least there's no one knocking on the wall this time.
Oh, right.
You remember in front?
Oh, yes, didn't like it.
Place that we were staying, the next door neighbours weren't happy, were they?
No, didn't
I
approve.
think we were disturbing the television.
Oh, yes. Oh, very thin walls.
That was really interesting. That was a definite different energy that was coming through for me. I don't know about for you, but that felt very
that was
like that was more than Arcturian. There was a lot more.
No. I said hello to the Arcturians because they're known to me, and I'm like, this is very new. Can you help?
I'm just having a little look through the messages. While I'm doing that, do you want to share about Patreon and your website or whatever you want to share of how people can get hold of you and what's happening?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I have a Soul Star, I named it Soul Star Community, where I do a bit like what I just did with Denise. I have 3 offerings every month. It's £22 or $28 a month, and the 3 offerings are guided for 2 people to have 20 minutes each, soul reading, healing sounding. So I do them on Facebook Live occasionally, because I was doing them weekly, but now I don't want to overload myself. They were like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. This is like double the amount for 2 people. Plus, I'm going to do journeys that I would have done on Zoom. So a whole journey activation where we're led to somewhere dimensional with beings, with sounding, activation codes, light language. It's different every time. It's all in alignment to what's happening where we are. The next one is the 2nd of February, which will be connected to Imbolc and Spring and Bridget, Fire and Water, High Priestess, which is 2020, and it's on the 2nd. So it's bringing in that sovereignty, that divine feminine energy, as well as the full energy of taking that leap of faith. And along with journey and 2 healings I also do like ascension update with channeling who wants to come through the galactic ones. It might be trans channeling. It was a bit of like that then, or light language information, and you can ask questions or share whatever's happening for you. It's going to be a chat, but it's like Zoom. And then there'll be space for sharing light language where we all start sounding together. It's on Patreon, and it's called Crowdcast. It's like Zoom. It's like this. So you can have lots of people chatting together or things like that. And I have a website where you can look me up. It's my name. So if you Google that or go on my Facebook page, and I do a lot. I do a range of things. I tune into wherever anybody is, and I cover a lot of different approaches, if you want to call it that. I was born remembering things, and I've and I've carried on. They keep giving me things. I have a certificate in something, but that wasn't really, that was just for me to have a certificate. But yeah, so I do sort of, I call it like soul alchemy, quantum healing, interstellar shamanism. I'm really gone blurred now.
I know. I like that. And then you
whoa, what's going on? I am still here. Thank you. Yes, I know I've been feeling a bit whatever, but I don't need that as well. So yeah, so I kind of got two offerings where it's soul reading, or quantum healing. I do custom made images for people with light language codes. So yes, so I'm not sort of doing a range of things. So free things on Facebook. I'll pop on and go, I'm going to do this, do lives, and then I got my Patreon. It's £22 a month, and then you can see me one-to-one, a range of things. So my sessions are about an hour and a quarter to an hour and a half ish. Yes.
Would you mind writing into the comments your website and Patreon, so that it's easy for people to get hold of you? And thank you to everyone who shared this video. And if it does resonate with you, we would be most grateful if it's shared, because it really does help to spread the word. And one comment that is standing out from a certain Joseph Delaney, you may be familiar with him. Oh. Actually, I'm just going to tell you this little story. So I think you know that I did a light language share the other night in the light language garden.
Yeah, and I missed it. So
yeah, was that when you're doing your sound bath?
I thought I was, but I wasn't. But obviously, I was kind of out of it.
Well, Joseph's window smashed at the beginning of the call spontaneously. It spontaneously combusted his double glazed window. Anyway, no explanation other than the energies, really.
Wow.
So, Joe's written, old paradigm, no time like the present. New paradigm, no time in the present.
Oh, oh, that's perfect.
And lots of thank yous. Thank you to, there's too many names here actually to
wow. Oh, thank you.
To read them all out. We should do this again sometime.
Yes.
It's been lovely. It's been so long, and it's been really, really lovely.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining us. I don't know who the next guest is or when the next guest will be on Love Speaks Love. And I can't really do it so linearly, as in it's going to be once a week or it's going to be on this day, because I just don't really work that way. And I thought for a long time that was me being a commitment phobe, which I am. But I realized recently it's also to do with I can't work on that linear level with time, really. So yes, thank you everybody for joining us. And especially thanks to you, Elizabeth, dear sister.
Thank you.
This is always the hard bit, actually.
Yeah, ending.
But I shall. And this will also be on Inner Peace with Denise on the YouTube, on my YouTube channel. English words are not really flowing that easily just now. I want to re-listen to that activation, because that was actually, from my perspective here, that was really huge.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Alrighty, so just going to end this now on Facebook. Thank you.